let's go to the audience via Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord and hear what is on the minds of the people. The minds of the people. We will go first, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, to Tressa of Minnesota. Is that correct, Tressa?
Well, I pronounce it Teresa. Can you hear me?
Teresa, welcome. Yes.
Great. Listen, I'm from Minnesota, as you know. We are a blue state. I'm a Democrat. I'm progressive. I'm liberal. I like to say that I will vote for Joe Biden, even if he is slumped over in a wheelchair drooling, because the GOP is that dangerous. We know that the GOP, big part of their platform so far has been big, heavy anti-trans, transgender. You know, they don't even want them to exist. And they pull in a lot of suburban women when they hear about children.
Yes.
You know, children are being mutilated, blah, 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 which is not even true. But, you know, the response from the left seems to be dismissive. Oh, they make up such a small minority of, you know, percentage of the demographic of the population. It's not even worth talking about. And I kind of disagree. And I have 2 points that I like to talk about. Number 1, I don't know what it's like in other states, but like I said, I live in Minnesota, a liberal state. And corporations and companies and, you know, board meetings and park boards and city council meetings and knitting groups all start off their meetings by asking people what their names are and to declare your preferred pronoun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even a transgender person in the room. There might not be a transgender person in a 10-mile radius. And it seems overboard, just like the GOP goes overboard. I think sometimes the left goes overboard. I think the intentions are good. You know, they want to be inclusive and accepting, but asking someone what their pronouns are is kind of intrusive, I think.
So let me address this, Teresa, because you've said a lot, and I don't want to forget all the different points you made. So first of all, from a very tactical level, my opinion is I'm also against the unprovoked putting forward of pronouns as a matter of sort of standard operating procedure. I know a number of teachers who teach in schools where they started the year doing that, and then they very quickly figured out, hey, you know what? This actually isn't great. Number one, it's not great because the truth is trans people are a very small part of the population. And so why is it that we are doing this absent any particular reason to do it? Now, one reason would be, well, you're making everyone in the room comfortable because by having everyone state their pronouns, someone who has pronouns that might not be obvious from their physical appearance will be more comfortable. The counterpoint to that, Teresa, is there might be people in the group, in the audience, in the room, whatever, who are currently struggling with gender identity, who actually don't want to be in the position to have to state, here are my pronouns. So I would call it like it nets out to zero. But my general view is I don't think that that's something we need to be doing. I'm very comfortable as a trans, empathetic, and supportive individual, basically taking my best guess at what people's pronouns are, which, by the way, when you're talking to the person, rarely even comes up. It's usually when referring to the person to some other person. But anyway, and if I get it wrong, it's very obvious that I'm not doing it in bad faith and someone can correct me and whatever. So that's my view on the statement of pronouns piece. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes, triple yes.
Okay.
Yes to all of that.
Now,
yes to all of that.
On the earlier thing you said, Teresa, which was along the lines of it may not be the best approach to just say, this isn't even a big enough issue to talk about, and dismissing it outright, you're not big on that. I think I understood. Is that right?
Correct.
My thought on this is sort of as follows. We should recognize that it is no longer acceptable to treat or stereotype that many groups that at one point was okay to do. Like there was a point in the United States where it was just totally acceptable to use the N-word when referring to black people, separate sinks, bathrooms, water fountains, and restaurants. Okay, that's changed. It's no longer acceptable to do that. There was a point at which using the F word for gay people was acceptable and you could openly discriminate. That's not acceptable. So what's happening is that the right is going to smaller and smaller groups in order to find someone that maybe they can get away with scapegoating. And I do think it's important to recognize that we shouldn't overstate the prevalence of trans people, because like this happens with anti-Semites, Teresa. If you ask some anti-Semites, listen, what percentage of the population do you think is even Jewish? And sometimes they'll say 5, 10, 20%. And then you go, it's 0.2%, right? So I do think it's good to be accurate about the size of a population. At the same time, I agree with you that just saying it's not an issue because it isn't a big population, that's not a super strong defense. I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think that it's a small issue, because when people are being harmed, it's an issue.
Right.
Companies, whatever, can have their diversity and inclusion policies. I don't know, most companies have a handbook or whatever, make it very clear that there are consequences and ramifications for treating people disrespectfully by not calling them by the name that they wish to be called by, whether you think that name belongs to what they look like or not.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's not ignoring it, but not going overboard the other way, which I think alienates a lot of people.
Teresa, I mostly agree with everything you're saying. I know you had more, but I have so many people waiting and we've been on almost 10 minutes. I want to keep getting people on, if that's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Teresa from Minnesota. Very powerful stuff. Here is the perfect Father's Day gift. Get him a Wi-Fi connected digital picture frame from Aura. Our sponsor, Aura, has been named the #1 best digital picture frame by Wirecutter, The Strategist, and Wired. This is not one of these early 2000s picture frames. There's no USB or SD cards, and you get free unlimited storage. And you can instantly frame photos and videos from any device anywhere in the world. I have several of these. I got my dad one. And so now I take pictures of the baby, load them into his Aura frame, and they show up and everybody loves it. It's no more of these having to bring a slideshow when I visit. I just put the pictures right in the frame. I'm really glad I got him one of these. And right now, Aura has a great deal for Father's Day. Go to auraframes.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman to get $30 off plus free shipping. This deal ends June 18, so don't wait. Terms and conditions apply. The link is down below.